Hello again, precious friends. Welcome back to the Carnivore Hippie's Kitchen. Today, we're going to finish our MEATZZA. Last time we made our MEATZZA sauce, and today we are going to make our MEATZZA crust, and we're going to bake it and top it off with all of our wonderful toppings, and then we're going to broil it and taste it. And I think you're going to be really pleased at how well this recipe will satisfy your next pizza hangry. You'll become immune to pizza before you know it. So let's get right to it. So first of all, we're going to talk about, as we usually do, we're going to talk about hardware. Unfortunately, this recipe you can't really make without a food processor. If you're going to do carnivore cooking, I suggest you get a food processor. This is not very expensive. This is a Cuisinart, and I got it on clearance because it's gold. I don't know why people don't want a gold colored one as opposed to a white one, but this one I got a couple of years ago for only about 80 bucks. And it's been a great machine. I haven't had any problems with it. It does everything that I need it to do. You can get them even cheaper than that nowadays. You can get little tiny versions for 18 or 20 bucks. So just keep your eyes open on Amazon or at Walmart or on the internet or at whatever discount store you like to shop at. I really, really recommend that you get yourself a food processor, because it will open up so many doors for you in terms of creative carnivore meals or even just low carb meals. So, food processor fitted with the metal blade, you can see, okay? And also we have our pizza pan. You can use any kind of flat baking pan for this. It doesn't need to be a round pizza pan, but I've got a fun round pizza pan, so why not? A plastic spatula or silicone spatula, more properly. And I have an offset spreader, which is really helpful. It's not strictly necessary, but you'll see it's really handy for when it comes time to spread out the dough. Okay, so let me get rid of, we're going to keep this. We're going to put this off to the side. Oh, pardon the noise. And whoops, let me move this back a little bit. And here we're going to show up with our software or our wetware, depending on how you want to put it. Here we go. So, here we have 12 ounces of cooked chicken breast. You can use canned chicken breast. You can use, this is home cooked chicken breast. I just like to get a big old package of chicken breasts from the supermarket when it goes on sale, and just cook the whole package all at one time in my slow cooker on low for about 4 or 5 hours. And I make MEATZZA crust out of it. I make chicken salad out of it. My husband likes me to make chicken salad and he dips pork rinds in it. I just like to eat it just with salt and pepper and melted butter on it for a quick, easy meal. So we're going to put that in 12 ounces of cooked chicken breast. You can use canned chicken breast if that's what you have, if you don't want to mess with cooking whole chicken breasts, but make sure you drain all the broth off of it. Okay, squeeze it real dry. Okay, and over here, the rest of our wetware, I have a cup of Parmesan cheese. This lighting is getting problematic. Half a cup of Parmesan cheese. This is pre-grated, obviously. This is the store-bought kind in a jar with the famous green lid. You know what I'm talking about. If you want something cleaner, please be my guest to grate it yourself. And we have 1 chicken egg, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. Don't confuse the two. Baking soda and baking powder are not the same thing. It will say baking powder on the label. If it says baking soda on the label, or if it comes in a square yellow box, that's the wrong stuff. Here I have a couple of pinches of Italian seasoning, completely optional. You don't have to put anything in here, but I like it. And here we have a teaspoon of unflavored gelatin bloomed in 2 teaspoons full of water. Okay, this is going to help give our crust body and make it act more firm like pizza crust, so you can actually pick the slices up and eat them like pizza. Again, this is optional, but you'll probably have to eat your pizza with a knife and fork. You know, that may not be a problem for you. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we are going to pulse our chicken meat until it's pretty finely ground. Okay, here we go. That's about 25 pulses. The reason we haven't just put it on and let it run is because I don't want it to form into a ball. Once it forms into a ball, the stuff that sticks in the middle, doesn't get processed anymore. And pulsing it helps keep it, the stop and start motion helps keep it from forming into a ball. So that's why we're doing it this way. Even though it takes a little longer for this portion of the process, it actually is shorter, because if it forms into a ball, you have to stop and take the lid off and use the spatula to break the ball up, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know if you can see it's bunching up on one side or the other, but it's trying to form a ball now, and I'm not going to let it. Okay, I'm going to take some of it out. My hands are very, very clean. I'm going to take some of it out and show it to you. It looks like, turn it over here in the light. It looks like finely flaked albacore tuna from a can. See if you can see. There we go. All right, that's what it looks like. It's not completely pulverized, but it's pretty fine. That's what we want. Now we're just gonna throw everything else in. Cheese. It's not quite a dump and go, but it's pretty close. Baking powder, Italian seasoning, or just a little bit of oregano if that's what you have and what you want. Our gelatin. The gelatin will very often come out in a lump like this. It looks like a little gummy. That's fine. It can be like that. It'll process up. And our chicken egg. Okay, I am also going to put in here about a tablespoon of water. Okay, if I need it. So we're going to reserve that tablespoon of water. And we're going to scrape down the sides of our processor just to make sure we don't lose any bits that don't get processed. Put it back on the right way around, Patricia. There we go. Now we're going to sprinkle some more. Okay, it's forming a ball already. And let me open this up. See if you can see it. See how it's all bunched up on one side? It's forming a ball, and the egg, I don't know if you can see, there's still some loose egg mixed in here. And it's still looking a little bit like flaked tuna fish. There's still some chunks of the gelatin in there, so it's not quite ready yet. It needs to be fully incorporated, but it's forming a ball already. So I'm going to go ahead and put my tablespoon of water in it. The old food processor that I used to have, the feed tube went on in the front, so I still get it. I still try to put it on backwards. It's looser now. It is bunching up on one side, but it's not completely forming a ball. That's about 20 pulses, and I think I'm going to scrape this down and even it out. And then I am going to let it run just a little bit longer, and this time I'm going to let it form a ball. Oh, well, it looks like it's not going to form a ball, which is fine. That means it's a good texture. If it had formed a ball, I would have put another tablespoon of water in here, but it didn't. Here we go. See what it looks like? It looks like rough biscuit dough. Okay, that's what you want it to look like. It's going to be slightly sticky. But if you make it into a ball, it holds together. It holds its shape. That's what you want. It's the texture of wet biscuit dough, which is perfect. So, now that I've got my hand all covered in chicken dough, we're going to move over here to our pizza pan. This is another reason why I like to use the food processor. This is so much easier than doing this by hand with canned chicken. But you do you. You can use exactly the same recipe, but just crush up the canned chicken as much as you can by hand, mix everything in, and pat it into your pizza pan if you're using the canned chicken and you don't have a food processor. I ought to just do that recipe one time. But you know what? There's plenty of other creators on YouTube that do keto recipes that have videos already for that particular recipe. I just kind of don't feel like I need to repeat their work. I like to show you the things that I've discovered that I like. So here we go. We're going to scrape out our chicken dough onto our pizza pan. The other thing that the food processor does that I like is it aerates the dough really well, and that gives the baking powder something to get started in. The baking powder or leavening, all leavening, basically blows up. It creates gas, which forces air bubbles to form. And if there's not like little tiny seed bubbles already in the mixture, it's very difficult for the leavening to do its work. And kind of no matter how much leavening you put in it, it's still going to remain dense and unpleasant. So the food processor aerates the dough and starts it with the seed bubbles, so to speak. You know what? I just realized I'm stupid. I lined my pizza pan with foil, but I have to pick this up now because I'm dumb. And I forgot to oil my pan. Hang on a second. I don't want to do this wrong for you because I don't want you to have a sticky disaster. So I have some coconut oil cooking spray. You can just use butter or actually, you know what? Let's not even do that. Let's be smart about this. Since I have my bacon grease can right here, let's just go ahead and be smarter about this. Everybody's got a little bacon grease, and you don't need a pastry brush to do this. You can just do it with your fingers. It's easier since I have to work my camera to not have bacon grease on my fingers. Okay, you can line the pan with parchment paper if you want to. That would be my go-to, but I ran out of my wide parchment paper, and the only thing I had left was parchment sheets, which weren't wide enough for this application, so I opted for foil. But the reason I'm lining the cookie sheet is because sometimes this stuff sticks. No matter what you do, on occasion it just sticks. And if the pizza pan is not lined, you're going to have a dickens of a time getting it out without tearing it to pieces. So please, I really highly recommend you line your pizza pan. So here's our dough. Plop. Now we're going to start by dampening our fingers. Put our ball of dough right in the center and start pushing it outward with damp fingers. It even looks like bread dough. When the dough starts to stick to your fingers, just wet them some more and keep going. This will make a pizza the same size as this pan, which is, what is it? Oh, it doesn't say. It's like a 12-inch pizza pan. So just using your damp fingers, pat the dough as evenly as you can. Keep wetting your fingers. Not sopping wet, but just damp. And pushing the dough from the center to the edges. Just getting it as even as you can. Don't worry about it too much. If you've got a few thin spots, oh well. Put more toppings on those parts. Now, here's the part where I like my offset spreader. Because it helps me get the edges nice and neat. It tends to climb up the sides as you're pushing it up. And I don't know, I just like my edges to be nice and neat and not too crumbly. There we go. Nice. And then your spreader helps you as you run it across. It helps you even everything out. It helps you tell where there's thick spots. Okay, I'm not going to fuss with that too much. Here we go. Now, last thing. I'm going to use a plastic fork for this because I don't want to pierce my foil. But we're going to do what is called in baking with regular dough, docking the dough. And what that does is it helps the heat get down into the interior of the dough so that the middle of the dough gets done at about the same time that the outer edge of the dough gets done. Or if you want to, you can line a regular baking sheet with foil and just divide the dough in half and pat it out into circles with your hands or whatever shape you want. Obviously, this doesn't necessarily have to be round. It can be in any shape pan you want. You can make free-form little pizzas if you want to. It's completely up to you. So we're going to take a plastic fork. Like I said, we're using a plastic fork because I don't want to pierce or tear the foil underneath. And we're just going to do it all over. Okay, this helps it cook a little more evenly. Scrape the little bit that's stuck to the fork off of the fork. Pat it down. All right, our pizza's ready to go in the oven. Now, we're going to bake this for 20 minutes at 350 degrees. Let's turn our oven light on. So we can see what we're doing. Here is our fun pizza crust. And we're going to bake it on the center rack of the oven at 350 degrees. And we're going to set our timer to 20 minutes. Now, you don't want to sit and watch a timer counting down for 20 minutes. So I'm going to put you all lovely people on, your lovely video watchers, on pause, and then we will be back when the timer rings and take our lovely pizza crust out of the oven. See you in a little bit. Hello again, precious friends. We're just about to time down and have a look at our MEATZZA crust. We got 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. All right, now we're going to check, see where we're at. It may not be done, but this is our first check. It's very pale yet. You can see that it has shrunk a little bit. That's okay. It's still pretty soft. So we're going to put it back in the oven for a little bit to dry out a little bit more. So I'm going to reset the timer for 5 minutes and we'll check it again at that point. It's not an exact science, unfortunately. See you in 5. We're at 10 seconds, folks. And there we are. We are going to take our pizza crust out of the oven. There we are. It started to brown a little bit around the edges. I don't know if you can see it. It's much sturdier. When you touch it, you can tell that it's done. Your finger doesn't like sink down into it like it was before. It's still juicy, which is going to be good. It has shrunk, as you can see, around the little edge of the pan. That's actually kind of a good thing because it tells you that it's not going to stick. Okay? Like I said, this isn't going to taste like bread pizza. I don't know of anything that can replace the bread, a good bread in an actual piece of pizza, but this will take you very, very far. So, first thing we're going to do, ordinarily I would let it cool a little bit, but since I don't want to make you guys all sit and wait, we're going to go ahead and start dressing our pizza. I have my pastry brush. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my oven. We're going to make sure we have a rack right at the top of the oven, as you can see right here. And we're going to change our oven from bake to broil on high. Okay, so while we're dressing our pizza, that's going to be heating up. First thing we're going to do is we're going to provide kind of a moisture barrier to prevent the sauce from making the crust soggy, which can still happen. So we're going to give this a nice brushing of olive oil just because it's pizza and it's yummy. If you don't want to do olive oil, you can use ghee or clarified butter. You can use bacon grease, you can use beef tallow, you can use chicken schmaltz, you can use whatever you want. But I eat a little olive oil now and then, and I'm feeling in a very Italian mood, so we're going to use some olive oil. There. Nice and lubed up. Get rid of that. There we go. And now we're going to do half our pizza with red sauce and half our pizza with white sauce, just because we can. This is the sauce that we made last time, and you can be just as generous with it as you like. It's delicious. It's not too sweet. It's not too spicy. You can, of course, make it spicy if you want to by putting some hot red pepper flakes in it. I don't like it particularly spicy. I like it a little tiny bit on the sweet side, which is what it is naturally with the tomato. So, just please yourself with the amount of sauce you like. There we go. Now, let me rinse off my spatula. So I don't put tomato sauce in my cream sauce. Here we go. Here's our cream sauce that we made. You can see it's thickened up pretty well. It doesn't like to stick to the olive oil as well as the tomato sauce does, but and also the warm pizza does affect this. If you want to let your pizza crust cool a little bit before you do this with your white sauce, that's good too. There we go. Now, what every pizza needs. This is about 2 cups of mozzarella cheese. I don't know if you're going to need all of that. Let's get a little closer in here. I don't know if you're going to need all of that, but we'll give it a shot. You can put as much cheese as you want on this. I like a good amount of cheese. Some people only like a smattering. But that's up to you. Do whatever you want. It's your pizza. It's up to you. Yeah, we're not going to need all of this cheese, but we're going to use most of it. There we go. And for other toppings, I'm just using what I have. You can use whatever you want. Obviously, I have some salami. There we go. And I have some, artichoke hearts. Let's see. Oh, I was going to show you. Give me a second. I was going to show you how to how to slice up your artichoke hearts. If you have artichoke hearts in a jar, sometimes they come whole in halves or quarters. And I want to show you how to slice them up so that you can handle them and they don't just turn into a mess if you like artichoke hearts. This is how they come in the can. You don't want to put something that size on your pizza. So what you want to do is, here's the meat part, the heart part, and here's the leaf part. You want to take your knife and include some of the heart and some of the leaves and just cut it in a strip like that. And that way you get a little bit of the heart still, so it holds the whole thing together and the whole thing just doesn't completely fall apart. Here, let me do again with this other little one. See, this is almost a whole half of a heart. The shadow. I gotta do something about this lighting. Let me see if I can fix it a little bit. There we go. You see? Here's the heart. Here's the leaf part. Just cut it in a strip. Get some of the heart and some of the leaf. Let me lower this some. Again, some of the heart and some of the leaf. Some of the heart. Some of the leaf. And that way the strips will stay whole. So there's that. Just a little tip for dealing with something that can be as messy and annoying as artichoke hearts. But I love them. They're low carb. They're pickled, so they're very zesty and tangy. So we're just gonna lay on our artichoke hearts here. You don't have to use these. Obviously, you can top your pizza with whatever you want. This just happened to be what I had in the fridge today. There we go. And we also have some green olives. Ordinarily, I would be putting anchovies on here, but unfortunately, I didn't double check, and I don't have any anchovies for my hubby, so he's going to be sad. Oh well, I'll apologize to him later. And I like to put a little bit more cheese on top. That kind of glues everything down. Now, there we go. That's our lovely pizza. I think it just looks absolutely delish. Now, our oven is heated up. It says oven. The little preheat light is off, so our broiler is fully heated. And we're going to put our pizza in the oven, back in the oven under the broiler. We put it on the center rack the first time. We're going to put it on the top rack this time. And we're going to stand right by here and wait for it because this can go very, very fast. Don't walk away from this step. Don't walk away and answer the phone or deal with the dog or play with the cat or, talk, any of that stuff. You really, really have to stay on top of it when it's under the broiler like this because otherwise you really don't want to come back after you've done all that work waiting for your delicious pizza to treat your pathological pizza hangry and find out that you have nothing but a big black disc. That might just drive you right back into the arms of the pizza guy down the street. We really don't want that. So I'm going to check on it. Not quite. I don't have a way that I don't think I have a way that I can show you what it looks like in the oven. But I can tell you, it smells divine. It smells just like a pizzeria in here. And I'm going to keep waiting because this usually only takes mostly 5 minutes at most for this step, as long as your broiler is preheated. Gonna use the timestamp on my camera to count down about 30 more seconds, and then we're gonna have a check on it. I really, really hope you will try this because it really is just an absolutely wonderful addition to a carnivore diet. It's a good way to introduce people that you may know who are not familiar with the low-carb lifestyle to low-carb types of foods, because most people just really like it. Oh, here it is. It's perfect. The cheese has toasted. It's all melty. Look at that. Doesn't that look spectacular? Can you see it? Oh, you can't see it. Of course you can't. I didn't have the camera pointed properly at it. Look at that. That is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Don't you think? Look at it. Doesn't it look delicious? I'm going to take it around to the other side where we can get it under the light properly. And not have the... Yeah, we always still have the dang shadow of the camera into it. Hold on, let me fix the light. There. Here is our pizza. And we still have the darn shadow on there. I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix that. Trying to get my shadow off of it. Here it is. Yes, Missy has arrived. You can see her little feet. No, you don't get pizza, kitty. Everybody likes to see Missy. There she is. Missy! Meow. She's like wondering, Why don't I get some neat treats? Missy, you're a brat. Missy wants kitty treats. Well, we don't have kitty treats right now. We only have people treats. Okay, so there's our pizza. And we are going to, pardon my mess over here. We're going to slice a piece up. I bet you when you went low carb, you never thought you'd use this again, huh? Haha. Here we go. Oh, come on now. This is the red side. And it did stick a little bit, like I warned you that it would. It might. This is why you need foil. But here we go. We got it. Here we are. I'm gonna take a bite. See? Eats like pizza. It's cheesy. And it's filling. There goes hubby. It's not too chickeny. You know, it doesn't just taste like chicken with red sauce on it. It's really yummy. I want you to try this. If you've been missing pizza and you don't know what to do about it, this will change your life. It really will. Well, that's all I have for you today, precious friends. Whoops. Let me turn that off. We don't need it anymore. That's all for today, precious friends. I love you all. I wish you pizza, love, and meat. And we will talk again soon. Bye.